Ready?
I'm ready.
Let's do it. All right, guys, this is Eddie from Arizona Archery Club. This is something a little bit different. We don't normally do like a podcast setting or anything like that, but I felt like Taylor was pretty special to do something like this.
I'm special, all right.
So my buddy Taylor Bullard here, he's from Hoisington, Kansas. He's been a resident of Arizona for about 8 years now.
Yep.
So just before we turned the camera on, we kind of talked about how we met, and that was through archery.
Yeah.
So
yeah, actually we met here at Arizona Archery Club before Eddie even worked here.
Yeah.
I just came in to shoot a league night here one time, and I was a little bit late, I think, and I walk up to the line and I just look, and there was only a few spots open, and I see Eddie. I'm like, I'm pretty sure I recognize that guy from
I think
an
just
archery tournament.
Stuff, yeah.
So I'm like, I'll just jump in right next to him. And actually, we went turkey hunting shortly after that.
Yeah.
Was when we went to Kansas.
Was it right after? Yeah. Okay.
It was like shortly after that, I think.
That's so crazy, dude. That was awesome. That was a good time.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I think I even asked you that time, and then we ended up becoming
when
friends.
we went up. Yes. Okay.
I was I'm like trying to find someone to go with me, and because I wanted to like split the gas money.
Yeah.
Well, no one ended up wanting to go, so I didn't go. And then me and Eddie kind of built our friendship over that next year.
Yep.
And then that was when we went.
Kept shooting league every week, and I came and looked at these sheds last night coming down from Flagstaff, and we were talking about just the progression of archery that we've kind of learned and stuff, and just shooting league in here, and the ups and downs of that, of how it was like super cool, and people kind of would get upset of just the one person always winning, Taylor.
Yeah.
Because we used to shoot for money and stuff all the time, and
we're
trying to get that back.
You can't ever make everyone happy, and I guess they are frustrated seeing the same two guys win every single time.
Yeah.
But, I mean,
that's part of archery.
Brittany gets mad when I say this, but all I care about is archery and hunting. So
that shows, though, dude, because
right.
You kill big shit every year, and you win all the tournaments all the time, too. There's only a handful of people that win tournaments here in Arizona, and Taylor's one of the guys, dude. So
yeah,
you've definitely earned it.
There used to be a lot bigger crowd, but lately, the last year or two, it seems to be there's definitely good shooters here, but it's the same few guys showing up to the tournaments. Every now and then there will be like some of the guys that used to shoot a lot will show up at like to one or two a year, but you never hardly see any new shooters. Like when I showed up here 8 years ago, the first 3D shoot I went to, I was on the podium at the end, and everyone's like, who the hell is this guy? Like, came out of nowhere seemingly.
Exactly.
Which I did. I mean, from Kansas, just
But you've been
up.
shooting since...
Right. I've been shooting tournaments since I was 12 years old.
Right. So you've been shooting for a long time in Kansas and stuff, and we've even planned trying to go to Kansas to go shoot that big tournament.
Yeah, they don't have that tournament anymore.
They don't do it. It's just archery is slowing down a little bit in some places, and in other places it's blowing up. So like we were talking about, like the TAC events and all that. So maybe like in terms of like 3D archery and all that stuff, it's going more towards those novelty shoots, those fun shoots, versus like competitive stuff. So
right.
But that's definitely something we want to talk about today. Talk to us about your velvet buck. So Taylor just got inducted to the the 34th biennium Pope and Young convention that was held here in Phoenix. He got the number 5 Pope and Young velvet non-typical coos buck.
I did.
Yeah. So biennium, right?
Yeah, biennium means every 2 years. So every 2 years they have their banquet where they induct the new deer that were taken over that period of time.
So it's over the period of those 2 years, whoever scored, right? So you got number 5.
Mine's number 5 all time, and it was also first place for that
convention.
Biennium.
Okay.
So for that 2 years, my buck was the biggest non-typical velvet coos deer entered in the book.
Perfect.
And it's also all-time number 5 currently, which the velvet category is a newer category.
Okay.
So I'm sure everyone listening knows someone that probably killed like a 130-inch buck. Like, oh, Taylor's isn't number 5. I know.
Well, they gotta
you gotta enter it for one.
You're all right.
And I mean, there's bigger bucks out there. I've seen them.
Yeah.
But
you got to put in the work of entering it and doing all that stuff, right?
And also someone explained it to me really well. Everyone thinks it's like a pissing contest, the score of the deer. Well, it really isn't. It's for records of the deer that are being taken. They're holding this record of like the deer that are getting killed. The size of the deer could be changing over time. The quality of the deer, and also the Pope and Young Club is extremely active in like our hunting rights as bow hunters,
right?
Like, which is something that's constantly being infringed upon. I mean, in so many ways that's not even funny, and most people aren't even paying attention to that. Whereas those Pope and Young people, they are,
right?
And they have the money to lobby against these different things that people are trying to take away our bow hunting rights.
Yeah, there's, and I take it for granted too. There's not many times, and I kind of do it through the shop more now because we get tagged in these different things from like How for Life organizations and backcountry hunters and anglers and all that stuff, right? So now that I work at the shop, I'm a little bit more involved, but probably not involved as much as I should be. But like you said, it's not just to be like, oh, look and see what I killed, cool.
Right.
It's more about that, right? So that's definitely a plus, because you want to see, like, it's cool killing big stuff.
Right.
Gloat to your friends or
right.
whatever.
To be honest,
do, right?
To be honest, when I entered that deer, I did it off the recommendation of people saying you should enter it.
Right.
And I personally did kind of think it was almost a pissing contest, which I'm not totally against pissing contests, but at the same time, I thought that's what it was. And so Russ Richardson, he's the one that explained it to me, and he's super involved in it.
Yeah, his whole family.
And he's the one that explained it to me, and I'm like, it gave me a totally different perspective. And he explained it super elegant to me, like in a way that I was like, wow, I wish I would have like written it down. I'm sure if you ask him, he'd love to tell you about it.
Heck yeah.
But when he explained it to me at that event about how important it is, and it's more than a pissing contest, and I was like, well, the way he said it, I'm like, wow, I was glad he told me that, because I mean, I just did it because I had several people tell me to. Yeah. And I knew that deer was special.
That thing is special, dude. I'm sure I'll put some videos or pictures up of it and stuff during this, but that was a special buck, dude. And I still remember when you called me and sent me a picture, dude. That was
dude. I remember that too. I'd be lying if I said I didn't go back and look at the texts like months later.
Oh, dude.
Of just sending to my friends in our group chat, guys, I just killed a giant,
dude.
You're in shock. Everyone's like pics, and when I sent the pic, I think it blew everyone's mind. More than what they expected.
Right, we know you kill big stuff, and when you say it's going to be big, we know it's going to be big, but it's like you don't expect seeing that
deer, right?
Like a non-typical buck with all this trash on it, like
double drop time.
Right, I lost my mind when I saw that. I'm like, oh my god. The first thing I thought, I'm like, because I know you always call your dad first, right? Which is how it should be.
Right.
I'm like, oh my God, I just wish I could be a fly on the wall just listening to that conversation, dude, because I'm sure that was
I called him I literally shot that deer, saw the arrow hit, and saw him run off, and I called my dad right then. Somehow, I had service out in the mountain. Like, there's no service hardly anywhere.
Yeah.
I pulled my phone out, and I had service. I'm like, well, I'm calling my dad.
Yeah.
I called him, and what's funny is I called him and said, I just shot a giant.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, did you recover him yet? Like, no. He's like, well, go get him. And then it took us a long time to get the buck quartered or first find him, quarter him, hike him up a mountain. It took a long time, and he actually texted my girlfriend, Brittany, was like, have you heard from Taylor? She's like, no.
Oh, gosh.
He's like, and I didn't tell her anything.
Oh, gosh,
like,
dude.
Literally, he knew like 6 hours before anyone else. By the time I got back to my truck, got to where we had service, and she was kind of upset about that. Why you didn't call me? I'm like, we had just really started dating
right.
at the time. Maybe been together for less than a year, I'm sure. And I'm like, I've killed a bunch of bucks, and guess who I call every time?
Right. I think Brittany understands.
Right,
now,
she does now, but at
yeah.
the time she was like, oh, why didn't you call me? I'm like,
right.
oh, geez.
Yeah, no, there's.
But she totally supports me way more than I could.
Well, not only does she support you, she's actually doing it with
right.
you now too, which is awesome. Like, Brittany gets down too, and she's at what she's killed. How many javelina?
She's only one.
One, okay.
Yep.
So but she's only started what, a year ago?
2 years ago,
right.
probably.
So she's getting after it, dude, and she's getting into the tournament scene too.
Yep.
So that's awesome. You guys do that together. But yeah, anything else on your buck? I think we covered it. There's other podcasts and stuff that you've done just for that hunt,
right.
but if you guys have any more questions, I'm sure Taylor will answer your questions, or if you guys want us to hold another podcast or something, we could do that. But there's podcasts out there we can kind of send your way to answer those questions. So let's talk about these sheds, dude. Taylor has a good story. Like, he didn't even call me or nothing. He just tags the shop, and in this video, I forgot what day was it that you posted it?
Sunday. Just
Sunday.
Sunday. So yes. What is today?
Today is Tuesday.
Right.
So Sunday I was at the Overland Expo. Yeah. So we were shooting up at the Flagstaff Archers thing, and then after that we went to the Overland Expo. So I saw it real quick. I kept shooting and doing all that stuff, and then I actually looked at it. I'm like, holy shit, dude. Yeah. This is ridiculous, but.
Yeah, these are some freaks. I don't even know really where to start with it. So I went out shed hunting. Like, I've been shooting a lot of tournaments and stuff. I haven't hardly had any time to go out and shed hunt this year. This is only the second time I went out. Mm-hmm. And it will probably be the last time I go out strictly shed hunting, because I'm going to be scouting for your elk tag. But yeah, I like to use shed hunting to get my legs under me. Like, I've been being pretty lazy as far as the workouts go, and I'm
gonna stop you right there for a second, because I've never seen anyone hike as hard as you. Like, there's a couple people, right? Like, I put you up there, I put Brent up there, right, and a couple other people, and you're a mountain goat, dude. So when you say that, it's like, yeah, get your legs under you, but you can still blow 90% of the people I know out of the water, even where you're at now. So
I have to, man. It's like a necessity for me in my hunting, and I'm just driven by wanting to get into those spots where you find things like this. Right. And I know that the more you do it, the better you get at it. Right. Like, every time I go out hiking, I'm throwing extra crap in my pack just for that extra weight every time. Yep. Like, even when we're hunting, I'm still using that as a training for next time. Mm-hmm. So I almost don't even really pay attention to the weight of my gear when I'm backpacking. I do to an extent, but I still bring the heavier food. If I think it might be chilly, I'm bringing the heavier jacket. I'm bringing the heavier this and that, because I'm always training for the next time I go out. Right. And shed hunting, like I said, I do like to work out, but lately I've been having a hard time getting motivated to really push myself. And when I'm out there shed hunting, man, I have this mentality of like, what's over the next ridge? Well, I didn't find anything here. Well, that means I need to go climb up that mountain. And that means I need to go do this mountain. And if I still don't find anything, like I was about to say, 3 weeks ago I went out, I hit a spot that I hit last year that paid off huge. I found like one piece of crap deer shed all day. I hiked like 12 miles or something or more in this steep country. It was dry as a bone. My nose felt like just terrible from breathing in dust all day and dry. And like, I didn't find nothing. And so the next day I pick up and drove to a totally different spot. Hiked like 10 more miles that day. And I did find a match set of elk sheds, and they'd been there for like a year or two. And so I found 2 nice sheds and a piece of crap, and I So, I mean, then this weekend I find 23 antlers. Like,
how does that make any sense?
It's just, you just have to have, you just got to know that to keep pushing, and you're eventually gonna have a day like that. It's not always like this, finding sheds like this. Like, nobody knew that I even went out 2 weeks ago because I was like, man, that sucked.
Yeah, why are you gonna post about it?
Right, and now this weekend I'm like, hey, everyone, look at me. Yeah. Look at this, and everyone's like, geez, you're the best. Like, oh, you should have seen last time.
Right, well, but again, you're going out there for yourself, though.
Right, and that's the thing too. A lot of people, like I've seen people bash on shed hunting, like, oh, participation trophies. Like, you just don't understand. Like, I am like a antler freak.
Right.
Like, I just love the antlers.
But who doesn't like to be out in nature?
Right, and like, I'm doing it to get in shape. If I don't find any antlers, well, dang, I just hiked 30 miles.
Right.
And now I'm going to be, it just makes it so much easier. Yeah, climbing up a mountain sucks, and most people hate doing it. Well, if you do it like 20 times, the 20th time, it's so much easier that it's not even funny. And I learned that so fast at coming out here. I can remember when I first moved out here, like, you're hiking all day, and you don't even want to like step up on one elevation change. Like, you want to try to stay as flat as you can. Well, that doesn't even really happen to me now. Going up or down, it does. Obviously, going up is harder, but it doesn't faze me the way it used to.
Yeah.
And putting a heavy pack on, man. If you the only time you ever carry a heavy pack is when you're packing out an animal you killed. Oh, geez, it's gonna snap you in half. It kills your shoulders. Like, every year,
when we killed your bull in 27, dude. That was like the first time I put some serious weight on my backpack, and I'm like, this is another level, dude.
Right. Yeah, every year if I take a few months off from carrying my backpack, and the first time I go out, it kills me, man. Like, in between my shoulders, it just feels like it's on fire.
Yeah.
And like, you gotta carry heavy loads to learn how to wear your pack right.
How many people
and to build
do that,
up those
dude?
muscles, right? I mean, if you can, just train with, like, I used to put one of those 5-gallon water jugs, throw that in my pack, and I would climb up the Wind Cave Trail at Usery.
Oh, yeah, Usery, yeah.
And when I got to the top, I would dump that water out on a tree, like water in this tree. I'm like, man, this thing's gonna flourish.
Yeah.
And so that way I didn't have to carry that weight going down with all the pounding on your knees going down the hill.
Your knees
I just wanted to have the weight and push hard going up, and then I would pour that out. That's just something I used to do, and I mean, that translates huge into, because honestly, if you're in great shape, say you bike or run and stuff, and then go out there and carry a heavy pack, it's like it's different. You're just starting from scratch there, because that pack is going to be killing you. Your legs might be good, but your shoulders and neck and hips and stuff are just going to be getting smashed.
Yeah.
But
that's crazy.
Yeah, these sheds,
we got the freak one up. The other side's a freak too, but we got the freak one up here. Taylor measured them, and again, I'm not a
Pope and Young
official scorer and stuff, so this is just willy-nilly. But what'd you measure them out to?
So the way the point comes off on that one, this antler is so non-typical, and I would like to honestly probably have someone that really knows what they're doing score them, but I'm sure I'm very close, especially on the more normal one. The more normal one was 166 inches. And this one, the way I think they would tape it, is 168 inches. And what stinks is you have to forego all this mass right here in the middle, because you're just taking your circumferences like right here, right here, right here, and then you get this little guy
there
right here for
instead of getting that mass.
Instead of getting anything here, since the way that, which is supposed to be his third, comes off way up there, it's going to be like an extra point. So it's so non-typical that he kind of gets screwed on score. But if you give him a 35-inch spread, which is what my bull spread is that I killed, so that's what I give most of them.
Yeah.
He's not insanely wide, just a normal. He's like 369. So.
And that's with measuring that.
That's
mass.
Measuring this as the fourth circumference.
Right. And then if you would do it the other way, which would
the way that I want to, the way I would like to do it, you just measure right this, you call this the third, and you measure
get
around
your mast
here,
there.
and it's like 16 inches,
Right.
so he's like 380 or
Yeah.
something. But that,
Which again, score doesn't matter.
right.
Anybody watching this would kill this bull. Like if you don't, something's wrong with you.
Right, I
But-
don't know who wouldn't. I mean, maybe,
Right. No, it's a
maybe
sick,
if you're going for like a world record or something, let him walk. But
Yeah, I
he's
guess so.
a freak. And I glassed these sheds up, and they were laying in the wide open. Like,
Oh, they're not chalky yet. There's a little bit of sunburn and chalk, I think, on that one.
I think they've been laying there for like 1 or maybe 2 years.
Yeah.
And
There's a little bit of squirrel bite marks and stuff on them, but
Right.
they're super solid, super heavy.
right. That
What
one
weight,
weighs 13. Yeah.
And then the other one
This
was
one's 11 and a half.
11 and a half, yeah. So they're super heavy,
Yep.
not chalked out. They're still solid, so they're cool, man.
Yeah. So this year I was picking up a bunch of deer sheds, and I climbed to the top of this hill, and I'm on a glass over there. And you know what's crazy is in my mind, a lot of times I've glassed sheds, it's like really quick. As soon as I sit down, look, boom, there they are. And that's exactly what happened. I sat down, put up my tripod, throw my binos on, boom. They're like right there. I'm like, well, that's neat. I'm like, something ain't right about that one. It looks freaky. It was laying tines down, or it was laying in the way those are curved. I'm like, he has like several eye guards or something freaky going on. And I'm like, it's not that far, so I'm gonna go over there. So I went over there, and as I'm hiking to there, I had to go down into this canyon along for like, it was a mile hike.
This was after how long that you've already been hiking? you said
It was 9 miles. I was at 9 miles when I glassed these.
Okay.
So, and when I got to them, it was like 9.96.
Gosh dang, dude.
So it was exactly 1 mile to get to them. And as a crow flies, I think it was less than 1,000 yards across this. I think so. But as I'm hiking up to them, I'm like, man, I'm pretty sure I came over here last year. And I look at my maps as I'm starting to climb up this other mountain where they were. And sure as hell, my track from last year is going right up. I'm like, I'm pretty sure it's gonna go right by
Where
them.
you were.
Sure as hell, dude. I get up to him, and that's the first thing I did. Like, as soon as I walk up to this one first, I come up, and I just see it. I walked right to him.
Yeah.
I'm like, I pull out my map, and look, my track was like 20 yards to my left. Like, I walked so close to these. Like, I couldn't see them where my track was. There's a small ridge, and I was just on the back side of it. And it just sucks, because they would have been beautiful last year.
Yeah.
But either way, they're still cool as hell. And
That's crazy,
I
dude.
still got to
20-yard difference, and
that's how it goes, man.
Gosh.
That whole area. I mean, I've hiked that whole area a lot, and I find old sheds every time. I mean, my whole life, even in Kansas, we're hiking private property where there's only a few spots you can even walk. You still find old sheds. Like,
Kansas is another level, dude. Your dad did me dirty though over there though.
yeah.
I thought I found my first eastern whitetail shed.
Yeah, my dad just had an antler thrown out in front of his trail camera to see if like a coyote would pick it up.
We were just driving from another, like, to a different spot, right? And
yeah, Eddie's like, I think I saw a shed antler.
whipped in a park. Oh my gosh, a shed, dude. I run out there. I bring him back to the truck, and Taylor's like, I think my dad has a camera right there.
Yeah.
Did you text him?
Yeah.
Because we drove.
No, I saw.
out.
I mean, it's a spot where he's always had a camera.
Yeah.
Once we backed up, I'm like, oh yeah.
Throw it back.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
That
dude.
was funny. Kevin did find a little shed though.
He
Remember
did,
that?
yeah.
I
That was
walked
such
right
a fun
past
trip,
it.
dude.
Yeah. Yeah. We all killed turkeys. You guys killed it within the first like 30 minutes.
Well, we drove from here in my truck, loaded the truck down. Well, you drove from here. I didn't.
Yeah. We drove straight.
Our plan
through.
was to
It
split it
14
up.
Hours. Yeah.
You drove the whole damn thing,
Right.
dude.
And then that evening, right? Yeah.
So,
we
yeah,
drove
we
through the night.
drove
we left
through the
in
night.
evening.
Got to
Got
Kansas
there like noon.
midday.
Yeah.
Dumped all the shit off.
Right.
Loaded the bows, loaded the blind, loaded your decoys, and literally our first spot, right?
Right. We went straight to the spot where my dad's been watching these turkeys, and we pull up there, and there they are out in the field just strutting around, and it worked out perfect. We snuck up and set the blind up and get in there and let out a few calls, and they weren't coming at first, and then
It took a while.
Yeah, I got a little bit more aggressive on the calling, and next thing you know,
They came running,
they're
dude.
running across the field. They
got
it
so
caught
damn
us off
close,
guard,
right.
They come running up like.
So I think I was filming. You were calling. Kevin had first dibs.
Right. Yeah.
And they were so close, and you're like, "Are you gonna freaking shoot?"
Yeah. I forgot what happened. I think Eddie, or what was Kevin waiting for?
I think it might have been a strut in the blind.
Oh no, he was. We were afraid his. I said something about your cam not hitting the blind. Make sure you don't hit the blind.
Yeah.
And he draws, and Eddie's like, "Watch out for the blind."
Okay.
Just to remind him.
Yeah.
And he thought that you were telling him he didn't have clearance.
Oh.
And he's like, "What the hell?" Like, and the turkey's right there. I'm like, "Shoot!"
Literally like 10 yards,
less than
dude.
10 yards. I'm like, "Shoot! Are you gonna shoot?"
Yeah.
And what ended up happening? He let down, and they kind of ran off.
He shot first.
Oh, okay.
So he shot first.
Right, the Tom was up front, and then he kind of ran off.
He ran off.
And then the Jakes were still there.
He smoked
Kevin
a Jake.
smoked it.
And
It flopped right there.
Yeah, it was right there. And then they start beating it up.
Yeah.
The
And
Tom comes over.
Right.
Kevin's like laying sideways in the
Yeah.
blind. I don't know if I had an arrow or I loaded an arrow. And I like did this.
Yeah.
I freaking shoot over him.
Yeah.
And I hit it a little bit far back.
No, I think you nailed it. It just didn't.
Well, the thing took. Well,
It
would've
ran
died.
and burrowed under like a tree.
So it takes off. The Jake. It was one Jake left or two Jakes
One
left?
Jake left.
One
yeah.
Jake left. Because they kind of ran together, and we're just like seeing heads bob through
Right.
the trees and stuff. Did your dad show up or?
He was there with us. Remember, he
Right,
waited
he was up
at
top.
the truck.
He was up
yeah,
top.
just
You're right.
watching.
Because he started calling. We thought those birds were going to go up.
Right. Yeah.
We're like, Big Al, what are you doing up there?
Right.
Calling.
Right.
So then we start walking over. I about stepped on the damn thing, gave me a heart attack.
Yeah.
Freaking flushed like a pheasant. And then it kind of, it was dying, but it kind of coasted over this little
Right.
creek.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I saw exactly where it went, and then we all kind of walked over. And
It was on its last
It was like-
leg.
yeah.
Wasn't it dead when we got up there?
no, I put another one in it. It was
okay.
it didn't,
right. We
it
walked.
didn't
It just
move,
laid
like,
there, and he
yeah,
just shot it to make sure.
just to make sure.
Yeah.
But gosh, that was such a fun.
That
trip,
was
dude.
so fun, man.
We got to do that again.
Yeah, we do.
Heck
That's
yeah.
so fun.
Let's look at some more our next thing.